And imagine that store being lost to the community, and what a profoundly different streetscape and a profoundly different life those children have. That's the importance of careful planning, and why I said preservation is about the careful management of change, because those losses are irretrievable. When you lose buildings and you lose a streetscape, they don't return. They're not replicatable. You've lost irretrievably. That's why planning and careful management of change is so important, and that's what preservationists bring to the table.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I was wondering if we could talk a little bit about Tonia. You've been working within the state and the private sectors. Do you see them as different, and if so, in what ways? And you know, there's a number of pieces of legislation. I know this year, this is a very special year. This is going to be statehood, and you know, August will launch statehood. But of course, we've been celebrating it for some time now, a few months. The 50th anniversary of our state, and there's so many places that are now having their 100th, and even hospitals, etc. There seems to have been a special year certain years ago. Do you see a difference between the private and state government sectors?
As far as working is concerned?
Yeah.
Well, of course there's there's a big difference between working in the state and working for private. When I first got into private, I would tell people, of course they'd always wonder why in the world I would leave state, but you know, I would always tell people that in the state, actually being a regulator in the state, which is actually was the role, was being a regulator, people never wanted to come and see you. You know, they were always afraid of the laws, and you know, although we really did try to work with people, but anyway, you know, they were always afraid to see you, or would try to avoid seeing you. But in the private, you know, the one people are interested, if they do come to see you, it's because they're interested in historic preservation. If they came to see you for a preservation project, it's because they're interested in preservation, and that's been very nice, you know, to have that. They're already educated about it. They already have the preservation ethic. So that's been really, or we try and educate them, and it's a little easier to do it on the private side than I think the state side. People sort of have a wall up even before they come and see you. So.
I see. And that's what we're trying to explain. I mean, I would say that probably our, you know, regulations, et cetera, they could use some help in making it simpler and making everything simpler. But I think that the to break it down and to help people to understand historic preservation. But the key is to know that it matters, and that there are some things right around the corner that we need to save right now. There's no time to waste, right? We have the Falls of Clyde across the street, and we hope we don't miss that, lose that, and that would be sad. And you know, the Maritime Museum next door to it was key. I mean, Bob Krause did such a good job with that. So again, you have education, but we've also got the natatorium this year that's in jeopardy, I understand. You know, it might, who knows, we don't want to lose that, because it's about telling different stories too, right? I mean, everybody's got a different, that's the beauty of, you wouldn't want a library of a book of one. You want a library of many books, many stories. And so Wahiawa, agriculture, maybe that's a good story there. Liliha has got the story of all the different groups that have come over years and years and planted themselves. And
Eva Villages shows the range of from the different camps to how the plantation manager lived compared to the Filipino camp campers. You know, that's
everything matters, and it's very interesting. And I wouldn't want to lose any of those precious stories. And so the coast of where the natatorium is, I mean, I think that it's important to keep those. You know, you've got the fountain, you've got the former, the Kapilani Park was a polo field, is my understanding, right?
Yes.
And so all of that tells a story of the Roaring Twenties, I would think, right? So that's neat. We want to be able to tell the story of. And speaking of telling stories, if you don't want to, I will start with this. This is a calendar that I do every year, and it's the Our Liliha, Honolulu's Hidden Gem. And we're so grateful because Paul Chesley is a good friend, and he does this, and he is a freelancer with National Geographic. And but we do this on our own, and Paul helps with it. And this is, there's a building there, but these are some pictures. Well, there's Mauna Ala, of course. That's so special, you know, that's really special. And they tell stories. This is a story, of course, of our Natsuno, the bentos, but the physical structure is Natsunoya Tea House, which is one of the last tea houses here in Oahu and probably in the state of Hawaii. Recently, I was here at the St. Luke's Episcopal Church, which turned 100 years old just this year. And it was really something because this St. Luke's Church was begun by plantation workers from Korea, the first Korean plantation workers to come out here. And it was very special. I mean, the bishops came in from Korea and the Episcopal bishops, and that was really special. So we want to tell the story of this new initiative, the National Capital Heritage Area, National Heritage Area, which is this area, right? The Honolulu or Kapalama, also Ahupua'as. And, you know, we hope that this passes. This is a congressional measure 359, Senate Bill 359, and it tells the story of our people. Rob, can you tell us more? You've had some experience with national heritage areas, right?
Very happily in my life, I've lived in two places and worked in two places that have national heritage areas. The first in the 1990s, north of Boston, the Essex National Heritage Area was the first established. And I'll never forget the day that Senators Kerry and Kennedy came to my museum in Salem, Massachusetts, and described to us the establishment of this new initiative. And then when I went to work in Michigan at Cranbrook, the Automotive National Heritage Area came to southeastern Michigan and told the story of the automotive industry.
All these national stories.
And it is about telling stories. And it is about cultural institutions and historic sites having the opportunity to cross-promote and cross-market and to develop synergies of linked effort. It's a public-private partnership involving no federal ownership of land, no federal regulatory review. It is simply an opportunity for the community to market effectively and to, frankly, celebrate its heritage resources and to give the organizations within the area resources to tell their story more effectively. And that's what a heritage area is all about. There are over 40 in the United States, and we're very hopeful that Hawaii will have its first heritage area this year.
We would too, Tonia.
Well, essentially, so I have a question because I'm not all that familiar with it, but so essentially it's just like a tool, another tool for education, really.
It is an education tool.
Right, because there's nothing, I mean, there's no regulatory thing attached to it.
No regulatory review. Visitors to Hawaii will be able to better understand the stories told at Washington Place, at Iolani Palace, at the Academy of Arts, at all of the cultural institutions within this district. We will be partnering and cross-promoting. It's a coalition. In fact, the Hawaii Capital Cultural District Coalition is the group that is advancing this. And the term coalition conveys everything you need to know. It's a partnership across all the institutions. We're very hopeful. Senator Inouye has been a great champion, and we look forward to bringing this new initiative to our city.